If you're heading off to college for the first time, you might be a little unsure of what you actually need to pack for college. And as a professional college student, let me tell you the things that you actually need to put on your packing list. All of these things are items that I've used personally, so I definitely know how useful they can be. I first want to go over the things that you need in your dorm room itself. For your bed, you're definitely going to need to get some comfortable sheets. Your college is not going to provide you with any of that bed stuff. Your bed is going to be completely bare when you get there. Because of that, you're also going to need to get some pillows as well. Your bed is also probably going to be super stiff and uncomfortable, so I definitely recommend getting a mattress topper to solve that issue. And then getting a blanket or a comforter or something like that is also going to be super important, especially during the winters when it can get super cold depending on where you go to school. You could also get a nice rug to put in front of your bed. This is kind of optional, but having a rug gives you a comfortable place to step on when getting out of bed, and it also helps divide your room into like clean and dirty areas. And depending on what kind of rug you get, it can also liven up your room quite a bit and give people a place to sit on when they're visiting. Now moving on to cleaning supplies. Especially when you first move in, you're going to want to clean your room thoroughly because you have no idea what went on in there before you got there. And beyond that, maintaining cleanliness in general is just going to be super important. At least I think so. Cleaning supplies like disinfecting wipes, a duster, paper towels, etc. Getting a small vacuum can also be pretty useful because in a lot of cases, dorm vacuums are either super disgusting or non-existent entirely. And if you have non-carpeted floors like hardwood or tile, a Swiffer wet jet or really anything that cleans non-carpeted floors is going to be super helpful. Trash cans and trash bags as well are going to be something that you want. Sometimes your college is already going to provide them, but make sure to have them if not. I'd also recommend keeping hand sanitizer on yourself to keep yourself clean and prevent you from getting sick. And for the rest of your dorm, a mini fridge is really important if they're not already offered at your school, just to keep food good and keep drinks cold whenever you need. Microwaves as well can be pretty useful, especially if you want easy access to heating up your food. I also really like kettles because if you're ever really hungry in the middle of the night, you can always cook up some instant ramen. You may also find it useful to have utensils for whenever you want to eat in your dorm, so things like plates, bowls, cups, utensils, especially if you have guests over and are eating together. You could get them yourself, but you could also just take them from your dining hall, to be honest. If you're a rice lover, getting a small rice cooker may also be a pretty nice investment. I'd also bring a Brita water filter or something like that you can keep in your fridge, because even if your dorm has a water fountain, you really want to make sure that the water you drink is clean. Moving on to the technology that you might want to bring, make sure that you bring all the charges you need for your phone, laptop, iPad, or whatever. You definitely don't want those things dying on you. You're also going to want to get a surge protector or like a power strip if you have a lot of things that need power. Having a lamp for your desk is also really essential for when you're doing schoolwork, when it gets dark and you want to work in the middle of the night. Also, many dorms are not temperature controlled or pretty badly temperature controlled, so it can get super hot in the summer and super cold in the winter. And so for that, you're going to want to get a fan and a space heater as well. It really all depends on the climate around your school, but these items definitely helped me out a lot when I was in school. Command hooks are also really nice for hanging up pretty much whatever you want in your room, be it jackets, hats, posters. I'm also a really big fan of string lights. The big ceiling light makes the dorm feel a lot less roomy, and I think string lights are a really nice way to make the room more lively and warm. You're also just going to want to have supplies like scissors, tape, and glue. You're likely going to be using these for a bunch of different occasions, so having them can just be pretty useful. Now I'm going to go over the essentials you need for classes and really just going around campus. I recommend investing in a big backpack that can carry all the supplies that you need for classes. And also maybe having like a smaller bag, like a fanny pack is really great for when you're going out, but don't have that many items to carry. I prefer a fanny pack, but you know, whatever you like. A lanyard is also pretty essential for holding your ID and making sure that you don't lose it because you're gonna need it to enter most buildings, so definitely make sure to get a lanyard for it. If it rains often in your area, getting a small umbrella that you can fit in your backpack would also be pretty nice. I also recommend getting a reusable water bottle to keep in your bag to stay hydrated throughout the day. If you're going to a school that has a large campus, getting something like a bike or a skateboard, especially an electric skateboard, will make it much easier and much faster to get around to classes. I personally have an electric skateboard, which makes it super easy to get around. For note-taking, something like an iPad with an Apple Pencil makes the process much more organized and efficient, but if you take notes by hand, you could also get like a bunch of notebooks as well. A laptop or some other computer is going to be an absolute essential for school because a lot of work these days is done online. I also recommend getting bring a monitor that you can keep in your dorm room, which makes it a lot more easier to do work because you can have multiple windows open at the same time. Noise canceling headphones are also really great for when you're at the library, or maybe if you're at like a busy public area and you're doing work. On that note, having a portable power bank also helps keep your devices alive when you're outside of the dorm room, so definitely make sure to get one of those. If you like playing games or otherwise consider yourself a gamer, having a portable console like a Switch or a Steam Deck can also be a pretty good form of entertainment for you. Playing games with others is, I think, a really great way to make friends as well. Now, onto clothes. Make sure to only bring the clothes that you're definitely gonna wear. If you haven't worn something in months, don't try to stuff them in your suitcase. You're gonna have limited space in your dorm, so make sure to really only bring the clothes that you're gonna wear on a regular basis. Think casual clothes, athletic attire, sleepwear, or other things that you're gonna be wearing often. I also recommend to bring some form of formal attire. There's a pretty good chance that you're gonna have to attend formal events throughout college, whether it be dances, network events, banquets, things like that. There are gonna be several important events that have a formal dress code that you want to make sure that you have clothes for. And to make sure that those formal clothes aren't wrinkled, I recommend bringing a handheld steamer or something like that, as opposed to like a full-blown iron and ironing board. A mini sewing kit is also something that would just be nice to have, just in case your clothes get holes in them and you need to fix them. In a similar vein, having a lint roller is also really great for your clothes because oftentimes they get lint all over them. On another note, do not bring any of your old high school merch. You're definitely going to be getting a bunch of new college merch instead once you actually get there, and nobody cares about high school anymore, so just move on. And again, you really want to make sure to only bring things that you're actually going to wear, and if you do have a lot of clothes you want to bring, just get extra storage containers and hangers to make sure that you have space for everything. And with all those clothes, you're definitely gonna need a hamper to put your dirty clothes in and keep your space clean so that your clothes just aren't on the floor. I'd recommend one with wheels or ones that are like easy to carry, like the ones with shoulder straps, so that you don't have to carry everything in your arms to your laundry room, especially if it's like super far away from your dorm room. And on the topic of laundry, it's definitely gonna be important to bring detergent. If you can get it, I recommend Tide Pods since they make the process so much more convenient and simple as opposed to like regular liquid detergent. Moving on to shoes. You'll want to have a pair of sneakers that you're going to use on a daily basis because there's going to be a lot of walking that you have to do. Also, have a pair of athletic shoes for going on runs, playing sports, or just generally being active in. You'll also want to make sure to have a pair of beater shoes that you don't mind getting dirty. These are the pair that you're going to use at parties, concerts, places like that. And to match your formal attire, getting a pair of formal shoes is also going to be a necessity so that you aren't walking around with a full-on tuxedo and then your Converse sneakers. I'd also recommend getting a pair of inside slippers just to make sure that your outside shoes don't dirty up the inside of your dorm room. And for all these shoes, getting a shoe rack for them makes it so much easier to manage everything. It's gonna be really convenient having all your shoes organized in one place and accessible for whenever you need them. Now, onto the bathroom essentials. You're gonna need to have all your toiletries, hygiene, grooming items. That'd be your toothbrush, toothpaste, floss, soap, conditioner, shampoo, etc. Make sure to stay clean. I know college students can be very lazy when it comes to their hygiene, especially computer science students, so don't be them. And so that you don't hold all of these things when you go to the bathroom, a mesh shower caddy is definitely a must. You're not going to want to carry all of your toiletries and your arms to and from the bathrooms. And a shower caddy helps you organize all your items and makes it much easier to go to the bathroom. Make sure to also bring a towel as well, just to use for after you shower. And one really important item that I really want to emphasize is shower slippers. Whether they be flip-flops, slides, Crocs, shower slippers are a necessity. College bathrooms, especially communal bathrooms, can get really, really gross, and you do not want to be walking on those with your bare dogs. Do yourself a favor and please get some shower slippers. And that's pretty much everything that immediately comes to mind when I think of dorm essentials. There are definitely a bunch of other stuff I have in my dorm room, but they aren't really a necessity per se. So that's the video.